What's going on, people? I'm going to go ahead and make a video today. It's the 24th of July, Wednesday, and I just put this on to refresh my memory. I thought it would be worthwhile speaking today about some losses. We lost for the world of music. Not so much me personally, but there is a personal connection. We lost another giant of the music history yesterday. John Mayall. Now I was just playing his track off of this Pop Sound 70 because I don't have John Mayall. I was given a John Mayall album once. I got rid of it really pretty much right away. No, I kept it for a while, and then I traded it because I don't listen to the blues. And people who watch my channel know, some people probably pick up that I have a bit of an attitude about the blues. But there's a personal connection. John Mayall is important because he is a conduit. He was a British conduit through which we ended up with some of the greatest British musicians. You make the list. Well-known Peter Green, Eric Clapton, the guys from Fleetwood Mac, and the list goes on from there. This is one of those sampler albums from the early 70s Europe. I love these things. And this one is on an early example of bright orangish red vinyl. But the thing about John Mayall I thought was worth mentioning because I haven't been on Facebook yet today. But that's part of my routine to spend a bit of time on and off Facebook throughout the day. And I am certain that I'm going to be seeing a lot of posts related to John Mayall. So there's a personal connection. For a time, he had a horn player in his band named Red Holloway from the U.S. Red Holloway was one of my dad's good friends. Another person that he went way back to, I think his teen years with Red Holloway, growing up in Chicago. If I hope I'm not wording things. This is just what I can put together from my memory. I remember Red Holloway well, and I have one of his rare 45s, except it's warped. Where my dad accidentally left it in the car, but when Red gave it to him, so it was no good to my dad, so I gave it to me. And I keep it as a keepsake. But I remember Red Holloway as a child, along with Johnny Griffin. I remember them because they would come around. When they would come to town, they'd come and visit us. Johnny Griffin insisted on being called Uncle Johnny. And I forget if it was the same with Red, but Red was friendly and I liked them both. The other part of the story was when I moved to Albuquerque to go to college right out of high school to live with my dad. It was an interesting time because it was like getting to know my dad all over again or for the first time. And one of his friends, I don't remember if John Mayall was living in Albuquerque or somewhere near, but my dad talked about going over to his place sometime, taking me over to John Mayall's place, which never happened. But I remember my dad crowing about how my dad loved porn and had a porn collection most of the time that I knew him. And he bragged about how John Mayall had an amazing porn collection, but lost most of it in a fire. That's one of the details I remember about my dad talking about knowing John Mayall. Excuse me for slurping, it's good. But the other thing the other thing about John Mayall is that I went to see him in concert maybe sometime in the 2000s, he came to Omaha, John Mayall. Not the first time. But I went to the show with the intention of trying to connect with him and ask about his relationship with my dad. I tried to get to him before his set, and couldn't get backstage at this place, the Music Box. So I went up. He came out to check his piano and something else before they played. So I went right up to the stage, with the intention of speaking to him. But when I got up to the stage, and I was raised in music by what we call old school musicians. So when I got up to the stage and made my presence known, because I got right up in front of John, he made it known by his body language and the fact that he never looked at me once and said, "Don't fucking say a word to me. I'm working." I got that vibe. It's not unfriendly, it's professional. It's like I could just hear him. If I had interrupted him, I could hear him cussing me out. So I didn't say a word. I just stood there really close to him and just watched him for a while. When he was done, he bolted straight backstage, made it real clear he didn't want to be bothered with anybody. I find the blues boring as fuck. I really do. I was raised on it. So I understand that it's a beautiful form and it's really something you can do some amazing things with. So there are blueses that I like. But in general, I don't like to listen to the blues. And John Mayall, never liked John Mayall records. None of them. And I like saying that, because it's like, people can kind of get hung up and kind of like follow the leader. They'll do shit like follow the leader and say stuff that they don't really mean. And I don't do that. I respect John Mayall's legacy. Never liked his records. Rest in peace. Someone else who died recently who thought I'd mention, and there's more who have died, but it's like that's not my job to talk about dead people, okay? But Tom Fowler, who was with Frank Zappa forever and is on some great Zappa albums, passed away. Tom Fowler, bassist. But I thought I'd show this because this is another of the albums by the Fowler brothers. It was not just Tom Fowler with Frank Zappa. How many brothers are on here? William Fowler, Tom Fowler. I have to look on the inside. Steve Fowler, Ed Fowler, yeah. Walt Fowler, bunch of Fowler brothers. Very talented people. Tom Fowler was an excellent bass player who didn't stand out to me as an individual, but his work, I noticed, it's like, hey, he's popping on that bass. He passed away recently. People have posted on here about celebrities who have passed away. I'm not a celebrity follower. I'm into music, okay? I'm not a TV movie guy, I don't even know who some of these actors are that people have mentioned to me. But that John Mayall connection to my dad was enough for me to want to get on here and share that. Something else to share is I recently got this album, Gandalf. It's 1969 Psychedelia. This is one of those albums that I think is misrated. I think people look at the cover and they kind of lose it. Some people call this a psychedelic classic. I absolutely disagree. This album is so uneven. I don't even put this in my top 25 or whatever. If I were to bother to try to make a top list of psychedelic albums, this would not go in it. I only recently got a copy of this finally. I've been after it, and it's just kept going up in value over the years. This starts off really good with Golden Earrings. That's probably the best song on the album. Now, when I posted this, I found out that Sean Lennon has covered it, and I probably haven't. So I need to pull that and give that a listen. Let me see if I have it. I have a few Sean Lennon records. But I thought I'd mention this too, because like I said, and then when they play a blues form on here, horribly, okay? Excuse me. John Mayall was respected in the blues and jazz community. So that also I want to mention is that Golden Earrings, do I have it? He was, yes. So I do have the Sean Lennon version of Golden Earrings, so I have to play this. They probably did it when I saw them live. I saw Sean Lennon, Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger, live. And here's his... we got into a nice conversation because I've shared that before, that when I mentioned a couple things to him, he picked up on the fact that I was, okay, this is probably a cat, somebody to talk to. And we got into a conversation. I gave him a copy of my album Flyover. He was very friendly. I've spoken to him since through Instagram. I like to share that stuff. It's part of my whole trip about music since I was a kid. And then I have this one, La Carotte Bleue. I don't know if he's still with this woman or not. Charlotte Kemp, Mule. I know they were an item. They were an item when I met them. Yeah, this is a blue marble vinyl. So that's what got me to want to sign on today and say anything. There's some other folks that don't pop in my head just right away. I know one person who was a comedian but also made records was Martin Moe. So I can remember just to mention his name. Okay, so I'll put these away in a second. Okay. Hope everyone's doing okay. Slowly making progress on improvements that need to be made to my property as well as my house. Had a good conference with my neighbors yesterday. We're putting our money together, at least my cousin Raymond and I, because we're both, we're poor. So we're putting our money together on the sidewalk in front because it's affecting his sidewalk as well as mine, and the tree behind my house. We made an agreement yesterday. We found someone whenever they can finally get to it, because the city came out and looked at the lines and they go pole to pole. And the tree's not disrupting the pole to pole lines the way it's entangled in the lines leading to my house. They said, that's on me. I'm happy that Ray is willing to go halves on this because it's on my property, not his. But it's affecting him. If the tree were to fall straight down, it would go directly on my house. If it were to fall at an angle, it would hit his house and my house, or my house and my garage if it went in the other angle. So anyway, he's waiting for one more bid, but I said, as soon as you can get it done, let's get this done and get this worry off of you, and me as well. I don't want to lose my house. So that's the latest with that. It's always good to hear from you folks, folks that are kind of regular. I don't want to try to make a list of who all it is. You know who you are. It's nice to hear from you. And I'm glad for the most part it sounds like you're doing okay. Some folks, it sounds like are experiencing financial difficulty. Well, that should be no surprise. I would imagine that for the most part, most people watching this are dealing with financial challenges. So, as they say in Japan, gambate did I say it right? Do your best, gambate. Okay. You'll take care and see how the mouse pops in and out. That's weird. Talk to you later.